Hey everybody, so this is going to be a tutorial on how to use Oka on Pyraminx. Pyraminx is, I think, the only puzzle you can do it on, but if there's other puzzles, then that's cool. You can apply it there. So for this tutorial, first I'm going to go over the steps, then I'm going to show you how to do each step, and then I'm going to go through a couple of walkthrough solves just so you kind of see how it's all put together and stuff. It's sort of an intermediate or advanced method. I consider it more advanced, but there's probably more advanced than this. There's only a few algorithms you need to learn, and after very little practice, you can get pretty fast. So here we go, let's jump right in. So I'm just going to go over the steps right now. The first step is to solve two edge pieces. And edge pieces as in like this piece, this yellow-blue piece, and this orange-yellow piece. I would solve two of those to this one corner tip and leave this one open. The next step is to use this open tip as kind of a keyhole to orient the other three centers. So if I was doing these two edges, then the centers I would be solving would be green. And you just orient them by like turning this and turning these pieces like that, kind of. Just move the centers around and stuff. After you orient the centers, you solve this last remaining edge, so this entire tip is done. There's two algorithms for that. A third if you don't already know it. And then the last step is to just solve the rest of the edges and fix the tips. I don't really consider that a step. That's kind of in every method. So let's just get right to it. I'm gonna scramble it now, obviously. Okay, so the first thing you want to look for are two edges that can go on, tips or whatever. So, well, not tips, but corners. So when looking, you want to see if you have any attached already, and if you don't, then just look for ones that are easy. In this case, I see this one is pretty easy, solving the yellow-green and the yellow-blue to this tip. The yellow-green, since these are opposite colors, I can easily bring it up and it'll be oriented correctly and in the right place. This one, it's two moves, so I put this one up, and then for this one, you could bring it down and then just over. Pretty simple. So since I did this tip, the centers that I need to solve are orange. So using this as a keyhole, I orient these centers, just turning that, turning this, turning that. Now I look for the edge that I need to go here, and I see it's right here. So you want to line it up so that these are opposite colors. These are obviously not opposite. Opposite as in like the opposite of the edge, like that. So green and green, and then blue and green, whatever. So since it's like this, there's a simple algorithm. It's 4 moves, so it's pretty easy. You just hold it like this, and then you do U, R, U prime, R prime, and it basically solves it. And if the edge is right here, then it's basically that algorithm backwards, which is basically the same thing. It's just R prime, U prime, R, U, and it puts it there. So that's simple. They can also be flipped, like this edge could be in the right place, but it's flipped around. I'll go over that algorithm in the next step because it's another case for solving the last edges. And then you could just apply it here. It's the same thing. So, okay, so we finished doing this tip. It's all done. Now the last thing we have to do is these edges and the tips. So I'll just do the tips now, just so it's easier to kind of see stuff and it's not really in the way. So there's 5 cases for the last 3 edges. There's this case where there's 2 flipped and they need to be, you know, rotated in a certain way. There's an inverse of that, just rotated the other way. There's one where these 2 are, you know, everything is kind of oriented orange, but they need to be in a different place. And then there's an inverse of that, and then there's just 2 flipped. So I'll go over these cases first, the flipped and, you know, edge cycle or whatever. So when you have it like this, the way you want to hold it is so these 2 are on the side, either this side or this side, depending on the case. In this case, this edge has to go down here, so this is going down here, so you hold it on this side. If this edge was going down here, you'd hold it on this side, so the 2 mixed up edges would be right there. But we have this case, so we're going to do the algorithm. It's really simple. Again, the algorithm is just L, R prime, L prime, R. And it just solves it, just like that. So it's, again, L, R prime, L prime, R. And the inverse of that case is just on the opposite. So this edge has to go down here. Again, we hold it on this side. And the algorithm R, well, sorry, R prime, L, R, L prime. So, again, R prime, L, R, L prime. And that solves everything. Those are 2 of the cases. Now the one where it's just edge cycles, it's a little bit longer, but it uses the same algorithms. It's just kind of 2 of them, using it twice. So in this case, this is a clockwise, and I could tell because this blue needs to go here, and that's going clockwise. So it's going to put this here, and this here, basically. And you can, and this helps determine which hand you need to start with. That's kind of how I remember it, which hand I need to start with, and it's just kind of an algorithm from there. So since this edge has to go here, like that, you need to start with the left hand. Okay? So you do the algorithm, the first algorithm we did, for the last layer, I mean. So when this edge is flipped and it has to go here, so I'll say it again, you do L, R prime, L prime, R. Okay? And then from here, you have this case, so you just do that. So the same algorithm. And it's solved. And so again, if these are on this side, you start with the left hand. And you solve it like that. And when this edge, this, right now it's yellow, has to go here, you start with the right hand. And then it's just the right hand algorithm. So when the mixed up edges were here, and you have to start with that and whatever. So the algorithm R prime L R L prime, and then you turn it and R prime L R L prime. So same thing, and that's the wrong algorithm, of course. So yeah, again, just R L prime, R prime L R L prime, and then the last case, when these 2 are flipped, and that's also an algorithm for when the last edge and the tip is flipped. So it's the same algorithm, just saying. So I'll set up the case. Okay. So basically they're just flipped. This one's solved, you just need to flip those. So if you don't already know this algorithm, you might already know it. You probably already know it, but if you don't, it's R prime L R L prime, you turn it, and then you do the left-handed algorithm. So it's kind of a combination of both of those algorithms. So that's basically how you do it. Now I'm just going to go over 2 walkthrough solves or so, and just kind of showing all the steps put together, kind of how I would solve it. I've been doing Oka for a while, so there's some tricks and tips and stuff that I might be able to give you. Okay, first thing I see is this edge is paired up, So I'm gonna probably do this corner just because it's already paired up. I could be 1 or 2 moves away from finishing it, and I see I'm 1 move away because this edge is right here. So I could bring this edge up, and since it's really easy, I can inspect for the opposite centers. They're gonna be orange because there's no orange on the tip. So let's do that. Fix that. Orange, that's solved, and finish that one. Now I have this edge up here. It has to go here. Opposite colors are already set up. Do the algorithm. And these two need to be flipped. So let's flip them. And then we solve the tips. And what I recommend doing for tips is sometimes you might accidentally mess up and go like that, and then you have to do it again. A tip is just to look at one side, and if this is yellow, you just turn it that way. And if it's, green or something, you turn it the other way. I don't know if that will help. I got used to it, so it might help somebody. Just kind of getting used to the tips if you mess up a little bit sometimes. I'll do one more, and then that'll be the end of the video. Sorry it's kind of long. Well, yeah, I guess it's long. 10 minutes, 11 minutes. Okay. I don't want to tip already done. Okay, so, in this case, it's actually a kind of weird scramble. You see, a lot of stuff is like mostly done, like this yellow side is mostly done, but no tips or edges are in the right place. So it's a little bit harder when it's like that. Actually, this one is. I didn't even notice that. So for this, I guess I'd probably just move this edge over to the other side. So just doing that does that. I know I need to do yellow for the bottom, so I'm going to do that. And then I need to find the edge, which is right here. Same algorithm as before. Fix that, just so it doesn't get in the way at the end. And then you just have this case with the right end. And then do the tips. And that. Alright, so that's basically all I have to say and all I have to teach. I guess I'm teaching, I don't know. So, I hope this helped you. Thanks for watching, and bye.